Hi there and welcome. In this video, we'll be exploring the prepaid expenses amortization module within Sage Intacct. This is a native module, which means it's built directly into Intacct, which means no bolt-ons, no messy integrations. It works hand in hand with your general ledger, your accounts payable, and your reporting. Every finance team has to deal with prepayment, so things like insurance, rent, software subscriptions, annual licenses that you pay up front, but you need to expense gradually. So normally, yes, that means spreadsheets, manual journals, a long list of month-end reminders. It can be repetitive and it can be awkward to audit later. So this is exactly what Sage Intacct prepaid expense amortization module is built for and is built to fix. So you record the invoice into the system. Intacct takes care of releasing that cost month by month, accurately, consistently, and with a complete audit trail back to the transaction. So to start off with, we're currently in my prepaid expense dashboard that has been created. So to give some context and background understanding, the module runs on 3 simple building blocks. So we have classes, schedules, and schedule entries. And each one of these hold different data and serves a different purpose, but this is what creates the automation in the background. Classes define the rules, how many months to spread, which accounts to use, where that lands in posting. The schedules themselves hold the details, so the amount, the start date, the currency, the dimensions, which class to follow. And then the schedule entries are the result, so the individual monthly postings that Intacct automatically generates. But together, they automate what has been a manual spreadsheet-driven process previously. Let's start with classes, and I'll navigate through the prepaid expense module. So here you can see it is in the applications drop-down list on the left-hand side. And this is a list of components you can see in the system. Really simple, easy to follow, nice to navigate. So if we press our prepaid expense classes and open this up, if you have a number of classes that you want to bring in, and it's the same with schedules, you can import those in via a template, which really does just save time and increase that sort of efficiency of the process. We'll open the class up itself so you can see the list that we have. And each class is essentially the backbone of the process, and it is your amortization rulebook. And you can see I have a number of classes here in the system. So I've got my software subscriptions, I've got consulting, I've got rent, insurance. If I open up this software subscription, for example, press view. So it stores the expense account that this is debited to for each period. It also has the number of periods to spread across. So I've got 12 in my case. So most teams do choose 6, 12. The journal itself that the postings go to. So typically this is your prepaid expense journal, and we'd set that up prior. And then the method and frequency, which is fixed straight line monthly calculations to keep things simple, consistent across your reporting periods. Because each class linked to a specific expense account, in your schedules, which you'll see in a second, you can dictate the dimensional requirement, but with those GL accounts as well, and any requirements applied to that GL account are also applied. It just means that any posting carries consistent coding and flows cleanly into that profit and loss reporting. So once those are in place, your accounts payable team doesn't really need to think about journals or period counts again at that point. They simply just pick the right class. Intacct handles the rest. It's structured, repeatable, and it is completely under control, and that's the main aspect of it. With the schedules, again, you can import those in with a template in the system, but these are the live records that each individual prepaid. So each schedule, and I'll take us to our software subscription and view that, contains the class it follows, obviously the type it is, the amortization start date, the amount to be amortized, so the whole amount, the currency that it's in. If there are sort of specifics in your dimensions, so your entity, location, your department, this is where you would add that. That journal is inherited from your classes, absolutely fine. And then you can also see here, we can actually link this to the original accounts payable invoice or purchase order invoice. So reviewers can trace each posting back to its source. Behind the scenes, each schedule uses those fixed monthly buckets that start from the amortization start date. So it means that your postings are staying aligned for that clean month-to-month period. When you create those schedules for account payable, it is really as simple as just pressing show details, give it a schedule name, set the start date, and then choose your class. That is all it takes. When you post, Intacct will create that schedule and generate the monthly schedule entries for you. You can also do it from purchasing, which I did mention, but it is directly for the PO purchase invoice. But you can build those schedules manually for older items or balances that didn't come through AP. And if you're migrating, you can import multiple schedules, including all of that currency and exchange rate detail if you're working across entities and currencies. Once this exists, obviously we can generate the amortisation schedule and approve and start that. When we generate, it switches the status to pending, so I'll press yes. I can add any comments if I need to. And then what happens is it generates the prepaid schedule entries. So 1 per month for the full life of that schedule. So here you can see all of the entries that are there so far. These are the entries in every status, so the ones that are pending, as you've seen that I've just posted it through. We also have ones in review, which need to be checked before we post, and then obviously posted that it's hit the general ledger. While entries are in review status, you can make small adjustments, but when you approve and start the schedule, they do move to pending, and that locks that data and makes it ready to post. That will give you that full audit trail and control before anything hits the ledger. And I'll open one up so you can see one that we've got in pending. This is the detail. Here's the rate that has been applied. You can add any comments if you need to, and then you could submit that posting directly and manually. Again, we can also take more actions here, so you can clone this, send it, kind of process that information as you need it. And then what's happening at month end, incredibly straightforward. You can look through that list, filter those schedule entries and say, right, okay, I actually only want to see this in pending status for the current month perhaps. It then automatically debits your expense account and credits your prepaid assets, and it marks that entry as posted. So once all the entries in that schedule have posted, the status will change from progress in your actual schedule and not your entry to completed, and that will show that the amortisation on that schedule has finished. So everything ties back to that schedule and class, and that audit trail is intact from day one. All of this activity is completely visible inside this prepaid expenses module. So you can see here, I can create different types of views. I can create a view for my top level. I can have that schedule entry viewed at the entity level if I want to. I can also have the due to be posted created, any errors that are being fired back based on the coding or something that's been put in wrong dimensional structure. This gives you that really easy top level view. And because that dimensional coding, that structure is carried through your classes, your schedules, it always stays accurate. So to recap, and here you can see a prepaid expense dashboard again. So classes hold your rules, schedules hold your details, and entries do the posting. So this result is just faster for that month's end, cleaner reporting with a full audit trail. And that is the prepaid expense amortisation module within Sage Intacct. It's just smart automation that keeps your books accurate, your auditors happy, and your finance team focused on the bigger picture.